there she is then, the Autocruise Pulse, and it's Charlie here by so just going to go around the Autocruise Pulse, pointing out certain features and areas that's obviously worthwhile knowing. Obviously, just a bit of a how-to guide on how to work the motorhome. Now, externally, down this passenger side, you've only got two things to worry about. One is filling up the diesel for the vehicle, which is done in this hatch just here. The ignition key pushes into this, which will then allow it to turn left and open up. And also, underneath here, which you'll see just there, that there is your freshwater drain off. So because this vehicle has two onboard water tanks, we do need to drain those tanks off. And what it is on this side here, you've got your freshwater tank. So you put your water in from the other side, it goes into your freshwater tank, you turn your water pump on, you pump it through your kitchen, it goes down through the kitchen sink in the middle just here and into a wastewater tank on the other side of the motorhome at the back, which then will also need to be drained once finished using the vehicle as well. So every time you've done with the camper van and you're not going to use it as a camper for a couple of days, you don't need the water. You just need to drain that tap off just there, and also one round the other side, which I'll show you in just 1 second. Round to the back, obviously you've got your parking sensors. We've got access into the rear doors, which can be seen just here, where you're going to find some Fiamma chocks, hook-up lead. The previous owners left the awning in and all the blinds. The leg for the table is there as well. And in this locker just here is where you're going to find your gas bottle, which you can see just there. Now, on top of that gas bottle, that brass fitting you can see at the top, turn that left to open and turn it right to close. Now, that will need to be closed whenever we're travelling. So if we're driving anywhere, that gas bottle needs to be strapped in and secured, and it also needs to be switched off. So obviously when we turn up to a campsite, or we're turning up for a bit of a day out, we need to turn that gas bottle on just there, and then we can light the hobs and the grill. Now, coming around to the other side, we've got this point just here, which is where we're going to plug the vehicle in. This is going to power and charge the battery on the vehicle. Now, obviously, the leisure battery needs to be charged. That's going to power things like the fridge and all the lights in the back of the motorhome. This next to it is so you can plug into a campsite aerial, so you can have aerial TV in your motorhome. As you notice, campers don't come with aerials, so by having this fitting, you can plug into a campsite aerial and have TV capabilities in the camper. This here is where we fill up the fresh water, identified with the tag below. It'll spin freely as it stands, and that's because we need to unlock it with the key. And the reason they do this is so while you're wild camping, you don't have to worry about anybody putting anything in your waters. Now, obviously, below there, you're going to see an exhaust pipe for your diesel heater. So, obviously, that's just kicking out some exhaust fumes at the moment, as we've got the diesel heating on and running. And if I come down a little bit further, you're then going to see this pipe here, which at the minute is clipped up. As you can see, you can take that clip off, and that pipe just there is for your wastewater tank, which you'll be able to see there as well. So when you're done with the camper van, and you're going to not use it, the internals of it for some time, drain that tap just there, and the one on the opposite side, and I'll empty all the water off of the motorhome. Camper van, sorry. It's very easy to obviously just get those mixed up. So externally, that's it. We've got the diesel fill up, the water fill up, the plug-in point to charge the batteries, 2 taps to drain the water off, and access into the back doors to turn on the gas. Opening the sliding door. Whew, that's nice and warm. I'm just going to shut that, keep that warmth in for when you come later on today. Get that closed up. Diesel heater's kicking out nicely. I haven't put the table in under the clip. You'll see there's a clip just there. I've not put it in under the clip just in case you wanted to get it out on the handover, but I will secure this. You'll see there's a little track on the floor just there. And so the table needs to sit in between there and then clipped up at the top. So first is the fridge, which is control turned on and off by that switch. Now the power to the fridge is turned on and off by the switch. However, obviously the so when you turn on in fact I'm probably better off doing the control panel first actually. So when you come into the vehicle, we've turned the gas bottle on, we've filled it with water like I've just demonstrated where to do that. We then want to come inside and turn this button on here. That is going to initially send power to the fridge. If I do the zoom like that, you might be able to see a little bit better. That is already going to send power to the fridge and everywhere else. Once you've done that, see at the minute it says, I'm going to lift the camera up again, V for vehicle battery, L for leisure. So I can swap between those as I'm doing now. But not only am I powering these lights and everything else off the leisure, whichever one you select, that's the one you're charging when the vehicle's plugged in. Once you click them, it will tell you how much power's in that battery. So we've had the vehicle on charge, so that's now nicely charged up. So we'll be leaving it on leisure now until you come to make sure that's nicely charged up as well. Below there is your water pump, and then once you click water pump, it's going to tell you your fresh water levels, which again, once that disappears, if I click fresh water here, that's also going to show me it. So when we've got the hose piping outside filling it up, we can come inside, click this one here, and keep an eye on how much water's in the tank. This will be powered off the battery, 12-volt plug. This is connected to that external aerial point, so when you're at a campsite, you can plug the aerial in outside the motorhome, and then you'll get aerial TV to this point here. And this socket here will work when the vehicle's plugged in. As you know now, this switch to the right will kill the power to the fridge, but not in its entirety. It'll just switch it on and off. Power is constantly sent to the fridge once this control panel's turned on, and then that switch just there at the back, that essentially just switches it on so we can have it on and off. So at the moment in the fridge, you can see you've got a dial on the right as well. So if I just get my zoom in and show you, can you see the dial there just about? You've got all your numbers there, 1 all the way through to 7. 7 being the coldest, 1 being the warmest. So we just get these on. They're more of a chiller than a fridge. You know, obviously it's a camper van. They're a small 12-volt. They run off battery. So if they've really cooled things down too much, it'd drain all the life out of your battery. So it's that happy medium in keeping drinks cool, sandwiches cool, and stuff like that for long day trips and journeys, but not really adequate for storing meats for long periods of time, like raw meats. Now, your fridge on top, by the way, has a little switch. You see that now says vent? So this is how we should be leaving the fridge when not using it. This is going to allow it to breathe and stop it getting mouldy inside. We've got some great storage options here. You've got your grill just here with the new grill pan in, which I'll try and do this one-handed. I'll get that twisted around ready onto the high flame. So push the high flame, push the igniter. I didn't do too badly. And then you've got your grill lit. Now sometimes you'll have to hold on to this for some time just to make sure you can adjust the flame, look small and big, just to make sure the thermocouple's got nice and warm, because that way then, obviously if the flame doesn't stay on, it basically means that the thermocouple, this little reader that you've got on the end, it reads temperature, so it knows when the gas feed that comes through, when it's lit by gas, it will read temperature. If there's no flame and it's just leaking gas, it won't pick up a temperature. So in that case, it'll cut off your gas supply because it thinks it's leaking. So we need to get the thermocouple nice and warm. Same on the hob tops. Push in, twist, light. And if I saying that, I ran these through earlier. I was going to say, if you let go really quick, that flame should go out. But because the thermocouple, I've burnt all the dust off it and it's ready to go, the flame's staying lit nicely. I'll try with this one. Push in and... It's a difficult one-handed. There we go. That's saying that I let go straight away. They've been run up obviously a few times, hence why they're staying lit straight away. But if you left this, if you didn't like this hob unit for approximately a week, you would need to hold the buttons in for, I do the 5-second rule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let go, and it should stay lit. And it's just the thermocouple making sure that the gas is lit and we're not just pouring gas out into the motorhome. Obviously we've got running water coming through because we've got the pump running. And it's just there obviously showing you the feed. When you're done with it, you push this down and put the hob glass down afterwards. As I was talking, and I was just showing you some of the storage options. And I'll just move this because in this cupboard we have the fuse board. So all these ones on the left here are for your for like your 12-volt, and 12-volt just means everything that comes straight from the battery to the motorhome, and it's all labelled up below as you can see. So water pump, toilet, that's just your water pump. Charger, heater for fan, leisure battery, vehicle battery, vent fans, rear lights, 12-volt sockets, ignition supply, front lights and fridge, all come off this fuse board to the left. And on the right, you'll notice it's for, so that 10 amp MCB sockets hob, that's just going to be for the 10 amp socket that's just up there. Obviously, it's a universal board that they use in motorhomes as well. 10 MCB heater, extra sockets, fridge, boiler charger. So all these are basically just your main inline fuses. So your charger, your fridge, when it powers, obviously that's on the 12-volt system anyway. So that just don't worry about the fridge on this side of things. And then also you've got your 10 amp MCB extra heater sockets. So that's just going to be powering something else in the motorhome. Now the three on the right hand side will only ever trip if you overload a circuit, and that one big one on the left will trip if you plug in a faulty appliance as well. So it's just they're just like at home really. They're the same as the fuses you have at home. These are more like your auto electrician 12-volt battery inline fuses. Just below where you got a bit of storage compartment that just gets you into this bottom locker, nice and easy. And in that very bottom locker, as you've seen already, is your leisure battery. TV brackets there. Obviously, we've got some patches on the back two sides. I don't know if you can see that one there. Some patches on those to stop any cold air coming through. We've got the new long straps on there, so you'll be able to reach them. And if I take you outside, you can see that we've greased up all of the gas struts, and we've basically set the limits on them to be as light as possible. If there was any lighter, it's a bit of a ratio game, because if you make the gas struts too easy to pull up and push down, then it won't support the roof when it's up because you've untensioned it too much. If you over tension it, it'll hold the roof and a lot of weight on there, but it'll be hard to pull down. So we've set the gas struts and greased them so they're at their easiest point to pull down, but we've got just enough load in them so they can hold the roof up perfectly fine on a day like today, as you can see now. Nice and tension in there, so it pulls all the fabrics out nicely. But again, if you loosened them off any more and the compression on them, then it won't be able to support the roof. And we've greased them up really well, so it comes up and down nice and easily. Some nice new ratchet straps in there as well. We've had loads of new bits done to the vehicle, like the tyres. We put a whole new wishbone on here because on the previous MOT there was corrosion and ball joints on the suspension. So what we did is we put a full new wishbone in and new parts underneath there, just to obviously belt and braces moving forward. It's also had the cam belt kit done, engine service, and a couple of other bits that you mentioned on the order form as well. But yeah, this is how to get on with the vehicle. Just so you know as well, all these lights are switched off with these switches just here. Your diesel heating, the green light means yep, we're on. If I do that now and turn off, that's in the off position. The diesel heater that's located under the passenger seat will continue to run for a number of time now, just cooling itself down. But to turn the system on, all you need to do is twist this dial. Obviously, right up at this end's really hot, and that's just in the middle. That's pretty much perfect on a cold winter's day. If you can't have it on this for too long. It's just simply too warm, way too warm. But you'll probably have it set in the middle just like that. Behind this cupboard just here is your hanging rail for your wardrobe, just in there. And obviously your gas locker is down below that I just showed you from the back door. When it comes to getting the bed out, if you remember, you have to remove this piece just here first and foremost, and then it's a lever operated bed, so the bottom will fold out, then the center will fold down, and the back one is already in position ready to go. And to move that, you need to lift the two on the runners. If you wanted to move where the seat was, you lift the two ball joints just there and simply pull it towards you or push it away from you. And that's it with that. But yeah, but it's always good just to have a healthy reminder of all the areas and what the vehicle does and how to use it. But I hope you use out of the Autocruise Pulse. It's a cracking piece of kit. Thank you for shopping.